Good afternoon, everybody. It is Sunday, April 6th, 2025. It's 3 p.m. It's time for the KWBE Kicking It with Brother Ed show. I'm Ed Steed, your host. I have a very special guest on with me today, Brother Hamm. You heard from him before. We're going to see what he's been up to and what he's got for us. He's got some things in store for us. I can tell you that much. And I'm very happy to have him again. By the way, before I bring him on, just to let you know, this month is Alcoholism Awareness Month, which means that we want to be aware of that whole issue of alcoholism, of which I suffered from that for many, many years, but we'll get to that another time. At the end of this month, which we got, this is a special airing of this program because we really wanted to have Brother Hamm back on, considering everything that's going on. But we're doing 3 programs this month. We're going to do one next month. Reverend Glenn Benson out of the DC area, who's also an author like Brother Hamm. He's a preacher and he's a community activist like Brother Hamm. So that's going to be a good show. And then at the end, on the 27th, at the end of the month, we are going to have a program during which we may have politician on. I'm trying to get her on, but if not, we will. Sorry about that. If not, we will definitely focus on alcoholism, some or the whole program, but you're going to get something out of it. Okay. So without further ado, let me bring up my brother Lawrence Hamm out of Newark, New Jersey, like myself, my man whom I've known for many, many years. Brother, how you doing, sir?
Good afternoon, Brother Ed.
All right, good to see you.
It's good to be here with you. Good to see you, brother.
Likewise.
We've been fighting together for many years now.
Yes, yeah, long, very long time. I want to get to. I see my man Charles Upshaw is on. Yanela Stevenson, Sister Jackie. Man, we got people coming on now. They're dropping in there. Let me see what Brother Charles Upshaw. Yeah, yes. Brother Charles and I went to Central High School together out in Newark.
Yes, I know Brother Upshaw. Yes.
Yeah, he's actually a retired Newark police officer also. So he's got a story to tell, and he has some challenges. But I'm sing his own song when that time comes. I'm trying to get him on the show because he's got a good, great testimony. But anyway, Brother Hamm, let's get to you because there's so many things to talk about with a little time to do so. I really wanted to ask you about yesterday, but before I do that, let's be specific in terms of the general prognosis from your perspective, because I know you've been in the community a very long time. The general prognosis that you have assessed regarding the health, if you will, of the United States, and also, since you're in New Jersey here still, what about New Jersey in particular? I'll let you go on with that.
Well, the health of the nation is dire. The patient is critically ill, brother. I was born in 1953. I'll be 72 years old in December. I think I have seen at least 9 presidencies, that is, successive terms of presidents. And I've never seen a situation like this. Now, that's not to say that the United States hasn't faced serious crises in the past, because it has faced some crises that have shaken it to its foundation. I mean, we could talk about the Civil War that threatened to destroy the Union, and we could talk about the Great Depression, and we could talk about World Wars I and II. We could talk about the impact of the war in Vietnam. That was another earth-shattering era. We could talk about the Black Power movement and the evils of the 1960s. So there have been crises before, but what seems to differentiate this crisis from others is that the United States is not only becoming an authoritarian state, but there's a serious fascist movement. That's not unusual because fascism has been in America as long as modern fascism, as we know it in the as we knew it in the 20th century, was in existence. What is different is that this particular political tendency now controls the government.
Right.
They control the executive branch, the White House. They control the legislative branch. They have majorities in both houses of Congress, and they control the judicial branch. In fact, this president, number 47, Trump, had appointed more people to the Supreme Court than any previous president.
Is
He
that
got
right?
right. He got to appoint 3 people. No president has been able to appoint 3.
Right.
And it looks like he's going to get to appoint some more.
Absolutely.
And more than that, they just ruled in a case recently, well, at the end of last year, beginning of this year, that the president has immunity from prosecution while he's in office.
Right.
That's never happened before.
No.
We're faced with a profound constitutional crisis in that the president is openly ignoring orders from the judicial branch. See, they taught us in school, right? 3 branches of government: executive, legislative, judicial.
Right.
And that each branch checks the other branch. We have what they call the system of checks and balances. So when a president does something that's illegal or not in accordance with the law or the spirit of a particular law, a case can be brought to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court can rule that this particular piece of legislation is unconstitutional, or this presidential action is unconstitutional. Now we have a situation where the orders of the courts are being ignored, as we have seen this week with the ruling that these prisoners that had been taken to El Salvador without due process, that they should be brought back, because
Absolutely.
the Constitution required that they have some type of judicial review, some type of either trial or court assessment or something. They didn't have any of that. The president just put them on a plane and sent them to one of the most notorious prisons in Latin America. And we see a situation now where the federal government is literally being destroyed from within. You know, Elon Musk, a non-elected person, has been given more authority than any member of Congress to go into agencies and essentially gut these agencies. That's right. That's him. By the way, he's giving a Nazi salute there. Imagine if a Black elected official was somewhere speaking and he gave a Nazi salute. It's like it didn't even happen now. Nobody's talking about it. It was only a month ago. But, you know, we live in a white supremacist country, so people have white privilege, and obviously they can do whatever they want to do. They tried to castigate President Obama because he wore a tan-colored suit, you know, a beige suit, you know. So Elon Musk, and I mean, my father is buried not too far from here. He's buried in a Glendale Cemetery in Bloomfield, New Jersey. He's in the veteran section. My father was a World War II veteran who was in Europe during World War II. So I wonder how all these World War II veterans feel that someone working for the president of the United States can go around doing Nazi salutes. When we lost tens of thousands of soldiers in during World War II. So the state of the nation is dire. The latest, every day it seems like some new crisis, but the latest are these tariffs that President Trump has imposed on other nations. And you really got a problem when the capitalist class is condemning one of its own. This week, the Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times of London, said in my words that the president is stuck on stupid. He's getting ready. These tariffs could trigger a worldwide recession that nobody wants. So it's a serious situation. And I just want to end with this. Black people are under an onslaught. Attack doesn't begin to describe what's going on. First of all, the economic impact of many of these federal workers are Black workers. The federal government, Black people are 14% of the population. We're 20% of federal workers. So with all these federal workers being laid off, many of these are Black people, and now Trump just issued an executive order saying they're taking out the non-discrimination clause in federal contracts. So now, you could discriminate, you could segregate. That was actually a clause. Like you couldn't get a contract with the federal government if you were engaged in any discriminatory hiring practices or segregationist practices. Right. Now that's been removed. Black history being outlawed, DEI. People say, well, Black people not the biggest benefit. Well, that's true. But nonetheless, thousands of Black people were employed in programs that were DEI programs. Now, were we the biggest beneficiaries? No, there were other groups that were also beneficiaries, more so than us. I actually met people who I was speaking at a college last month, and the people, the staff came up to me and showed me the letters that they had gotten from the Department of Education because they worked in a DEI program for this particular college, and they were all Black. It's 6 people. And they were just saying, we're just some of the people. They were all showing me the letters they had gotten saying that they were going to be terminated. So it's a serious situation, and we got to deal with it.
Well, let me ask you a question about that. Are you saying we have to deal with it? I know yesterday was a big day for organizations like yours, People's Organization for Progress, and some of the things you were involved in. Could you talk a little bit about that, what you did yesterday, and what your plans are for the future in that regard?
Right. Well, our big day was Friday, because Friday was the anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, Friday, April 4th. It was April 4th, 1968, when Dr. King was assassinated on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. So People's Organization for Progress, during the 42 years of our existence, we have always celebrated the birthday and commemorated the anniversary of Dr. King's assassination. And so, we had a march on Friday. We call it the March Against Injustice, Racism, and Dictatorship, because we feel that's what we're facing now. Dictatorship. Absolutely. Trump just announced this week he's going to run for a 3rd term, even though the Constitution says he can only have 2 terms. And people say, well, how are you going to do that? And he says, we got ways. There are ways, right. But that's clearly someone. Look, this is the guy that tried through violence to overthrow the government on January 6, 2021.
He has gotten away with
they went there. That's right. And, when I go around talk to Black people, I don't hear the word authoritarian. I hear the word dictatorship. People like he trying to be a dictator, you know.
Yes.
So people know what's going on. So we had the march. Friday. We rallied in the heart of downtown Newark at the Lincoln statue, and then we marched down to Broad Market Street, and we marched back, and we had speakers, and we talked about, you know, what Dr. King was doing at the time of his death. He was in Memphis trying to help workers
Right.
form a union.
Sanitation. Right.
And when he was finished in Memphis, he was supposed to go to Washington for the Poor People's March.
Right.
You know, for Tent City, they were going to set up a Poor People's City in Washington, D.C., but he was assassinated. So we did that. Now, yesterday was also a day filled with activity because other organizations had called what they called the hands-off rallies. There were
Right.
12. There were rallies in 1,200, that is 1,200 cities and towns across
Wow.
the United States of America.
Wow.
And many here, to my surprise, many here in New Jersey. In fact, in towns that never have protests or hardly ever have protests, like Bloomfield and Glen Ridge and even Montclair, they had demonstrations. I went to the Montclair rally, which was huge. It was in Brookdale Park in Montclair. It was a huge rally. I would say at the high point, there were probably several thousand people there, you know, and then there were large crowds. I live also close to Glen Ridge. There were large crowds there. There were large crowds in Bloomfield at those rallies. And they called it hands off because they were sending a message to the president: hands off our Social Security, hands off the Department of Education, hands off the Department of Health and Human Services, hands off the Veterans Administration, hands off the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, hands off the Consumer Protection Financial Bureau, hands off all these departments and agencies that provide services to the people of this country. And I commend the organizers because some of these rallies were huge, like in New York, in Washington, in Chicago, huge, tens of thousands of people coming out into the street, voicing their opposition to the policies and programs of the Trump administration. So I commend them. And what I'm looking for now, we need to start having large turnouts of Black folk, because people don't understand, or maybe some do, that what Trump is doing is he's aiming at us. Now, you can see that more clearly, like with the DEI, all the thousands of Black and other people of color that lost their jobs, and white people. They're white people. People don't understand. DEI and affirmative action were different. DEI was about inclusion of all, you know, what they call marginalized groups. There were a lot of white veterans who had jobs through DEI programs. There were a lot of people with disability, you know, physically challenged people that had jobs through DEI programs, and on and on and on. So, you know, all of this outpouring was good. But see, the Trump administration, like when they rounding up so-called illegal immigrants, undocumented people, that's the low-hanging fruit for the Trump administration. They really, this counter-revolution is really aimed at Black people, is to undo everything that has helped us, or let's put it another way, to undo everything that has been antithetical to white supremacy since the end of the Civil War. When Trump is talking about ending birthright citizenship, he's talking about undoing the 14th Amendment. When was the 14th Amendment passed? After the Civil War. 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments had everything to do with Black people. Ending chattel slavery, recognizing us as citizens, and the right to vote, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. He wants to undo all of that. They want to undo the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights and what's left of it. They've really been undoing it for 40 years. This didn't all start with Trump, but it's like someone driving a car and you cruising at 25 and then you decide to step on the accelerator to go to 50. That's Trump. That's when you step on the accelerator. But this car that's been driving away from the civil rights movement, has been going on for some time. But the fact of the matter is this, and I think it escapes some people. This is aimed at us, brothers and sisters.
Amen. Now, your Pop is sponsoring, I'm looking at my calendar here, on April 6th, Saturday, a march. Is that right?
No, it's not a march. On April 26th.
I don't see. I thought I had it up here, but I don't. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. All right. Saturday, April 26th, we are having the Martin Luther King People's Convention for Justice and Resistance.
Yes.
It's going to take place at Essex County College, 303 University Avenue from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is free and open to the public. There is no registration fee. And we're going to have this convention to try to develop a people's agenda in terms of what we want to see happen in this country and action to implement that agenda. So it's not just about the agenda, but it's also about formulating actions to, in fact, help that agenda become a reality. So we want everybody who is all about justice, all about equality, all about democracy. We want all of you to attend this convention at Essex County College. As of today, we have 148 endorsers of the convention, including my brother Ed Steve, and we're looking for 148 more. So if you're a member of an organization and you want to get on board with this convention, just give us a call at 973-801-0001 and let us know you want to endorse the convention, your group wants to endorse, and we will add it to the list of 140, right now 148 endorsers and growing. So everybody come out so we can put together this agenda for social change and social justice and peace in America and in the world.
Excellent. I'm gonna post that up right now so everyone can see it, and you'll tell me if there's anything out of order there. We'll fix it.
No, everything is in order there, brother.
Okay. Good.
Looking good.
All right.
Thank you.
I plan on being there, by the way. It's difficult for me to get away, but on that day I have it set aside to attend, and KWBE is endorsing that. And please call that phone number if your organization that you're affiliated with, church, whatever, is able to endorse as well. Give that number, call 973-801-0001. It's right there. I'm gonna leave it up there until the end of the program. We have like 5 minutes left, Brother Hamm. I wanted to give that to you so you could talk about any parting words you had, anything that you wanted to add to this, whatever. We got like 4 or 5 minutes left. Please, it's your show.
Well, thank you, brother. First of all, thank you for having me on as your guest. You could have had somebody else, but you gave me a chance, so I appreciate that. And you've always been supportive. Many people don't know you're one of the founding members of the People's Organization for Progress. People don't know that. You one of the the first meetings we had at Brother Ed's house, 42 years ago. He's one of our founding members. So he's always been in our corner. But the thing I want to say to folks is don't lose hope. I know these are very discouraging times. I know this is like making a lot of people turn off you know, and want to throw their hands up. And I understand that. And I
Yes.
understand if people need to take a break, need to take a rest. Even I have to turn the news off sometimes. It's so depressing
Right.
that I'd make myself crazy if I didn't step back for every now and then. But once you get rested and get yourself together, we got to keep fighting, brothers and sisters. It's just like Frederick Douglass said. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. And
Excuse me
so
for
I
cutting you off, but
urge
I
brothers and
read
sisters,
that
and
in
when I
church today. I read that
say that
quote
again,
from Frederick Douglass in church today. But go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I
wow,
had to throw that
we
in.
on the same
Yes.
wavelength. Yes, yes.
Yes.
So I just want to say to folks to, you know, and when I say keep fighting, that doesn't mean everybody has to do the same thing.
Right.
There are 1,000 ways to resist oppression.
Absolutely.
There are as many ways to resist as you can possibly imagine. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you got to march all the time,
Right.
or you got to be Larry Hamm. No, we all have different situations in life. We have different circumstances, but it does mean that you find a way to do what you can to resist oppression, to fight back, and to connect. Even if you can't be out there, be connected to the people who are trying to be out there and who are trying to make a change. And keep your mind open and stay aware and educate yourself. Keep up with the current events, what's going on, because we're in a fast moving water here. We're like on the rapids right now. And things are going to be happening very quickly, brothers and sisters.
Yes.
And we're going to have to move. And we have to be unified as much as possible as a people. And we got to turn to each other and build our strength and mobilize and organize so that we can improve our condition and change this society so that our children can have a better life. Just think about this. I just read an article in the New York Times saying that Black college enrollment is down across the country since the affirmative action the ruling against affirmative action by the United States Supreme Court. Donald Trump is attacking all programs that would help minorities. Our children are going to have fewer opportunities than we will have unless we are willing to fight to make sure that that doesn't happen. So let's get together and let's win. And don't be discouraged. We've faced worse before.
Absolutely.
We gonna survive Donald Trump.
That's right. We'll be here and he'll be gone.
That's right.
I
That's
got a comment
right.
I want you
That's
to read.
right.
Another comment from Brother Upshaw.
That's right. He says, yes, I was. I'm glad. Yes, yes. 1970s. I graduated Arts High in 1971. That's right.
Yeah.
Me and Ed was at Central and I was at Arts High. Yes.
Yeah, Charles was at Central with me. I was in a different mode, a different mindset, kind of, but I still have my consciousness regarding
that's right.
Our people, Black people, and injustice in general. I have a consciousness about that, a keen sense of it. So anyway, that's the end of our show. I hate to say this because I know I get on your nerves, but I gotta have you back again. This is so important.
Brother, you just call me. I'll be back anytime you call.
Yes.
All right.
We're going to
take care.
We're going to see you. I'm probably going to show up with a few people on that Saturday, but we're not registered yet, but we will be.
All right. Thank you, brother.
All right. God bless you, Brother Hamm. God bless you all out there. Don't forget 973, what is it? 801-0001.
That's it.
Did I get that right? All right. Call that number. Get out there. Saturday, April 26th. Essex County College, 303 University Avenue in Newark. 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. All right.
That's
We
right.
love y'all.
All right.
Come back and see us. We'll be on next month. Next week with Reverend Glenn Benson. All right. Peace.
Peace.